Hey, it's Jay. I hope everyone's having a great day, staying safe. And by the way, Happy New Year to everyone. This is our first video of the year. It's probably the second longest video I have put out, but there's a lot of information I need to cover due to lots of questions I've received and statements from those who just don't know what they don't know in regard to learning total clutch control and why we do it. Now, before we move on, I hope you will like and subscribe to the channel. It will help us in being able to start putting weekly videos out for you guys. We've had a lot of requests asking why I don't put a video out every week over the last year or two. And it's because we stay so busy with the motorcycle drop guard business, filling orders from all over the world every day. But this year, we're going to try to make a priority to get you guys videos out every week for training. Now, I've had lots of requests as well to do a video on two-up riding using the total clutch control method. So that's what we will be covering today. If you have any questions on the total clutch control method I'm talking about, we have that video you can check out on our channel. It's made a huge difference for thousands of riders who have had trouble learning their slow speed maneuvers with the clutch, throttle, and rear brake method that's mostly taught everywhere. Today I have a very special guest in the video, and that's my beautiful little bride, Tanya. Now, Tanya has decided to train and learn to ride after all our years together, and I couldn't be happier to be able to train her myself. She will be showing you what she's learned in her first 8 hours of training, which are some basic skills everyone should have. Now, just a bit of information on the first part of the video. Tanya got to the parking lot after I did, and after I had set all the cones up, and I had been warming up as she arrived, so I figured I would help her get a little exercise warming up before she started practicing. So I think you'll understand what's going on in the video when you see it. See, I'm looking at the cones, that's why. Now, she is very sassy and has a great personality, and everyone who meets her loves her, but you gotta be on your toes to get one over on her. But in all seriousness, I'm really excited to have her as a special guest in today's video. Now, Tanya is 5'2" and petite, and she'll be on a Harley Street 500. We are getting an electric glide set up for her, so she should be on that very soon. What you will see is some of the first hour or two of riding at slow speeds in a parking lot, which she completed tight circles, the 12-foot cone weave, which she completed the first 8 to 9 times without hitting a cone, which I was very proud of, and the offset cone weave, all with total clutch control, no rear brake or throttle. Now, her first braking exercise from higher speeds of 30 to 35 miles per hour is also included, just to show you guys how quickly you should start working on your braking skills. Now, if you don't know anything about these smaller bikes, the slow speed control and leans are actually a little harder to learn on as opposed to the large touring bikes. So if you don't believe that, definitely try it. Now, of course, we've put motorcycle drop guards on this bike for her to use and to protect the motorcycle. We will be sharing videos of her training and progress as she continues, but she has done amazingly well in a very short time frame, and as of today, she has about 10 hours of training. We actually spent the first 2 hours of her training in our driveway going over the controls and starting the motorcycle and turning it off, how to drop the motorcycle safely, how to stop the motorcycle, learning the gray zone, engaging the clutch from the gray zone, practicing straight line start-offs and stopping the motorcycle. We also let her practice shifting up and down to third gear in the parking lot over a couple of days before starting her slow speed maneuver training. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the exercises shown today, you should be using to train and practice on your bike before placing someone else on the bike with you. It's a big responsibility and one that shouldn't be taken lightly when someone else's life is in your hands on your motorcycle. Now, we all know that most riders fail to practice slow speed skills for the fear of dropping and damaging their bike, and with good reason. But as thousands of riders have learned all over the world now, you put a kit of motorcycle drop guards on your bike and you're good to go. You can develop your skills without the fear of damaging your bike. And by learning total clutch control with proper throttle engagement, you can do it without the excessive wear and tear most often associated with learning your slow speed skills with other methods. Now, we do have a special offer in the video on the motorcycle drop guards as well, so make sure to look for that. Now, we will be using motor officer patterns such as the 12-foot cone weave, the offset motor officer cone weave, and even the 18-foot keyhole, which is probably the toughest pattern for many motor officers going through motor officer training. And we will be doing those all with the total clutch control while riding two up, and as well as using a little proper throttle engagement. We'll cover figure eights, slow speed U-turns, and full lock U-turns from a stop. Now, I think you should master your clutch first and then add proper throttle engagement. And then once those two tools are down, start understanding the rear brake and how it can be used. Now, why do I teach this method? I get asked this quite a bit because it works extremely well in helping those who come out to train with me to gain total control of their clutch, throttle, and rear brake without the unnecessary wear and tear on their motorcycle, which is huge for me and many of my partners that I rode with. We didn't want that damage to our bikes because we had to buy our own bikes with the police department. And if you raise your RPMs, ride your bikes, you're going to wear those parts. So, you know, most riders, including most motor officers, never develop their clutch and throttle control to the degree that they should, and the rear brake becomes a crutch for most. Now, the term crutch upsets a lot of guys, and many will say it's not a crutch, but it's a tool to be used. Yes, but it shouldn't be relied upon for not having total control of your clutch and throttle to make simple U-turns in a controlled manner. You're wearing your tools out for jobs they aren't needed if you spend a short time mastering your clutch and throttle control. Okay, so some will disagree, but the proof is in the pudding, bottom line. What is a crutch? It's something you lean on to help you do something you're weak at, whether to walk or in relation to slow speed skills, using the rear brake with high RPMs for slow controlled U-turns and other slow speed maneuvers when your skills are not to the level they should be related to clutch and throttle control. So that's true because we have students making 18-foot U-turns in less than an hour with the clutch only. So it can be done quickly, as you will see Tanya do as well, but most fail to attain that control. I'm not saying you can't or you shouldn't use your rear brake. But again, why would you use a tool when it's not needed instead of developing your skills to a higher level from the start, okay? I get asked all the time about RPMs, how high they should be. My RPMs on these turns are most times around 1,000 to 1,100, but no more than 1,200 when I'm making these maneuvers in a controlled manner. And the bike feels completely stable and under control, meaning I don't feel that, oh crap, the bike is going over, or uh-oh, what's happening? Okay, I do not teach raising the RPMs beyond 1,200 for controlled slow speed turns. It's been shown time and time again, it's not needed on these Harleys, okay, these bigger bikes. Now, as a police motor instructor, I've seen lots of motor officers raising the RPMs up and riding their brakes through the patterns we train on, but still struggling and failing to make the turns and maneuvers, as do many civilian riders who are trying to make large turns of 20 to 24 feet. I've seen clutches, brakes, and rotors burn unnecessarily on YouTube and in training courses, okay? So I was not just a motor officer, but I have multiple certifications as a police motor instructor, as well as an MSF instructor certification, and years of experience as the training supervisor for a large motorcycle detail, being over the training of motor officers, okay? So I wasn't just a supervisor over a detail, I was the training supervisor, and I got a lot of experience in training as well as outside the department. So, you know, I've really taking this serious. Now, if anyone tells you that you need to raise your RPMs beyond 1500 to make a slow speed U-turn or practice your figure eights and such in a controlled environment, I would question that, okay? And yes, there are those that will say, well, if I'm out in traffic, I'm not gonna risk not using all my available tools to make turns and maneuvers. No one is asking you to do that, but guess what? If you have mastered your clutch and throttle, not only will you learn how to use them quickly and efficiently, but you will probably get to the point to where you feel more comfortable with using just the clutch and throttle to make a quick turn, all right? Now, those who have not taken the time to master their tools will say you should use the rear brake, and you should if you don't have your clutch and proper throttle engagement down, and it's usually those motor officers or other instructors that teach the rear brake use and high RPMs who say this. Don't let your ego or animosity stop you from developing your skills to their fullest potential or those of your students' instructors. I'm glad to be hearing more and more YouTubers who have always advocated you need the rear brake with higher RPMs to do slow speed maneuvers, now saying and demonstrating that you don't need to do that, but you must develop your clutch control first, which is absolutely correct. Why not do it from the start, guys? And let me say, the motor officers and civilians I know who can have their clutch and throttle control mastered, they ride at a much higher level than those who don't. I mean, come on, it takes more control to do this, and that's why most don't. It depends on how much control you want to develop. So please let me be clear, I'm not talking about competition riding here. Those guys are not using $40,000 or $50,000 custom Harleys, and there are all types of skills, practice, and experience that goes into riding competitions. But if you have each one of these tools mastered, I promise the competition patterns will not be as hard on your bike because you have learned total control of your clutch and throttle engagement in the more larger patterns, okay? I've had folks learn this method from these videos and are now riding competitions and will agree to that fact. And I have put a competition pattern in the video using clutch only and explained it. Now that's not the purpose of the competition pattern, but I'm just showing you even a competition pattern can be used with clutch only. Now I teach my students you don't only want to look professional and look like you know what you're doing, but you want to sound professional and sound like you know what you're doing, okay? Now I will be covering how I teach this method and the maneuvers to those who train with me in an upcoming video this year. If you have any questions, please make sure to write them in the comments below. If you want to see a video on something that may help you, write those requests in the comments below as well. Until next time, be good to one another, train hard, ride safe, and God bless America. Take care. Now this is a competition pattern. I can do it with the clutch only. Here we go. But that's not the purpose of this. There's no throttle. It's all clutch. Nicely done. But he hit a cone. But you hit a cone. No worries. But that's not the purpose of this exercise. The purpose of this exercise is for fast transitions. Tight circles to the right. Clutch only. Tight circles to the left. Using the clutch only. Clutch control, figure 8. No throttle.
2 up. Do you feel any throttle, Tanya?
No.
It's clutch only. No, you don't. The only time you hear is when the clutch is released, the idle will go up a little bit because it puts a little more RPM into it. Right there you go. Figure eights. These are great for transitions.
And what would make you want to clutch over the throttle?
Well, it's less wear and tear on the bike for you practicing, and it gives you more control of the bike when you do use the throttle. So, see how that is? See how, yeah, it doesn't tear up the clutch. No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, you're just engaging the clutch and letting it do what it's supposed to do. Use a clutch only on this. No throttle. Now we're going to shut the bike off and just do it with momentum. Here we go. Come on, come on. There we go. Are we gonna make it? Yeah, we made it. Now see how high the RPMs are. Let's see. We're at 1100. We're never going over 1100 RPMs on this. That's with 2 riders. There you go. Now look back over there. There you go. There you go. Now look back over here. There you go. Now look back the other way. There you go. There you go. Offset cone weave, clutch only. There's no rear brake needed on this exercise. It's the motor offset cone weave. I'm going to slow down. We're going to make the turn, see how many RPMs we need.
Maybe 1100.
Exactly. That was clutch only. Now we're going to turn the bike off. Make the turn. There we go. Less than 18 feet. Just momentum U-turn, no power to the bike. Full lock, clutch on the U-turn. Here we go. No throttle. Coming up to a dead end. I don't know what we're going to do. I guess we're going to have to turn around. No brake. It's not messed up. I mean,